Hello, my name is Kai, and welcome back to Transfer Talk. This is a series where I just talk about transfer speculation regarding Liverpool. Eventually, I'll expand it to other clubs, but for now, it's just Liverpool. Just going to give some of my brief opinions on some players. This isn't like my full profile analysis. It's just talking about the news and what my opinions are, my immediate reactions. So before I get into it, it'd be great if you could like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and comment down below. But anyway, let's get right into the news because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm just here on Anfield sector at the moment. So one thing that we saw from Fabrizio Romano is that Liverpool are closing in on a deal for Hugo Ekitike, and there's a fee that's going to be roughly around 95 million, which is like 80 million pounds for Hugo Ekitike, which I definitely think is an overpay. But clearly, if somebody like Arne Slot really rates Ekitike, and Michael Edwards does, and Richard Hughes does, I think it's the right decision. I think in the short term, you're going to get some good link-up play out of Hugo, and long term, he'll hopefully develop into a better finisher. But it's not only that. I mean, we were seeing things like we're not even done if we do sign Ekitike. Ekitike could potentially just be the beginning of the window. We could still sign another forward. We're still going to look for a center back like Mark Gahey. We could still go in for a midfielder. Could go for two center backs potentially. Maybe even a replacement for Ibu if he leaves. But in terms of another forward, apparently Liverpool could be going for both Isak and Ekitike. There's a chance that Arne goes for both because Arne sees Ekitike as a versatile forward potentially, like someone who could also play left wing. Because if you saw the Indy Kayla post that we saw, Indy was saying that ideally Liverpool want to sign Isak and Ekitike and a new winger because the idea is that we're selling Chiesa, Darwin, and Diaz, and with Jota's passing, we would need to replace 4 forwards. So if we were to sign 3 elite players, i.e. Isak, Ekitike, and Rodrygo, we could then have the rest of the spaces, which would maybe be 2 more forwards filled by academy players like Danz or Kumas or Doak or Rio, which would effectively be the idea. If that's what Liverpool want to go for, sure, it'll be a massive spend. But if you think about it, Wirtz, Mamardashvili, Kirkez, and Frimpong were all completed in the 24-25 PSR window because they were completed before July 1st, which means realistically, Liverpool haven't spent anything in this PSR window, and we could recuperate roughly 250 million from sales, potentially, through selling people like Elliott, Diaz, Darwin, and Chiesa. There's even a chance that other players leave too, other academy players like Tyler Morton. So there's still a lot of revenue to be generated. We have a left back that we still need to sell because we're carrying 3. We could potentially sell both. There's a lot of sales that Liverpool could still make. So there's a chance that we spend a lot more and buy 5 or 6 or even more new players. And some people might be concerned about squad continuity, right? You might be afraid that we're changing too much too quickly. But what you guys got to understand is that Arne, in his first season at Feyenoord, when he didn't win the league, changed half of the entire squad and won the league the next season. Arne is very much capable with revolution. We're no longer stuck in the Klopp mindset where we have to be keeping all of these players around because of loyalty, because of continuity, because Klopp likes them. Arne is much more of a mercenary. He's willing to just chop and change and get rid of players that he doesn't rate. I mean, he hooked Joao Kwanzaa, an academy player, purely because he believed that he wasn't winning enough aerial duels, and put Kanate in. And since then, Kwanzaa was isolated and wasn't played as much in comparison to the previous season under Klopp. And many people might be worried that Arne is not going to trust young players, but I think it's that he only trusts young players who he sees fitting the system. I see him trusting a player like Lucas Stevenson, or Tommy Pilling, or Rio Ngamoa, or even Jaden Danz, Lewis Kumas, players like that next season because he trusts their all-around ability, sees that they can contribute without having the ball all the time or make massive impacts on the ball. And he sees that they have good physicality, that they can cope with the league. These are the things he looks for. He just has a higher standard for academy players, I think. Because it's not like he didn't use academy players at Feyenoord. And I think the excuses we saw about rotation last season came from the fact that Arne didn't rate a lot of players and just used the small, condensed squad that he did trust. But getting him more players that he trusts is only going to be more beneficial. And I do see Liverpool still moving for like a midfielder, for example. We've seen a lot more than just links to Ekitike. We've seen links to Rodrygo as of recent. We've seen links to Isak even if we do sign Ekitike. So I definitely think Liverpool are moving to sign 2 or 3 elite forwards, world-class forwards this season. And if we do that, I think we'll easily retain the league and we'll be favorites, if not second favorites, for the Champions League. I think if we sign these forwards and we sign the center back, I think we'd be the best team in the world. But I think without signing an out-and-out deep-lying playmaking and defensively sound defensive midfielder, we aren't guaranteed to be the best team in the world. So I think we should still go out and sign a player like Adam Morton or Carlos Baliba to really balance out the team and make us truly the best team in the world. But I think we're already the best team in the country right now, and adding an Ekitike or an Isak or a Rodrygo or all three is just going to add insult to injury, and it will really allow us to dominate the league this season. That's pretty much all I've seen recently from transfers, at least in the past few days. We're moving for sure. I know we're missing out on that kid from Salford, Will Wright, who I thought was a good striker, and I think at academy level we do really need to look for a finisher who can play week in and week out. I kind of do like the idea of keeping Dan's around for that reason, but he potentially needs minutes, so I'd want him to play wherever he ends up this season, whether on loan, whether in and around the first team, whether in the under-21s, because he needs to recover from that injury. I saw some news about Stefan Bajcetic being linked to Rayo and Valencia and Real Betis. Look, a lot of people haven't watched Stefan since that Klopp season where he was good and then got injured. Realistically, loaning him or selling him to one of these teams is the best for his development and the best for our team, because I don't think he's really going to make it at Liverpool, and if he does, he'll have to have a sensational loan spell where we don't end up selling him. I think it's less likely we sell him now because he's currently injured. It's hard to sell a player who just got injured, but assuming he recovers and is able to play a preseason game, I think we sell him over loaning him. So that's probably the plan. As for the Luis Diaz news, where Barca are now getting Rashford, I think that if we can get a lot of money from Bayern, that's great. I'd love to sell Diaz. He's a great player, but realistically, Luis Diaz is at his peak. His value is never going to be higher than it is right now. You sell him. Because if you can sell him and pick up Rodrygo for the same price or a little bit more, with Rodrygo not at his ceiling, he can still go up a level and could be sold for even more money in like 3 or 4 years. You do that. Rodrygo's a player who's better, or at least as good as Luis Diaz. Younger, higher potential. You go and get him. You sell Diaz. Diaz is also on a favorable contract for us. Very low wages. It's not the $55,000 a week that people were saying. I think it's closer to like 100 and some, but it's hard to verify these numbers. And Rodrygo would certainly be on more. But if Luis Diaz stays, he's going to want a contract extension anyway, and it'd be similar money to Rodrygo. So I would look to sell him. And I think Liverpool's position of we don't want to sell him is because we want to scam Bayern for as much as possible, and I think that's what's going to end up happening. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but the amount that they want is crazy. The Rodrygo news, I don't think it'll be around 100 million euros. I think it'll get done for around 80, max 80, 90, similar to the Ekitike deal. And I think that's it for transfer talk. If you guys like this, I'll continue doing it. For the most part, I don't really like to speculate about things, but I mean, I'll talk about it from time to time, especially if it's like a bunch of bombshells like we've seen. And if we get a here we go for any of these, or David Ornstein confirms it, or Paul Joyce confirms it, I'll make a true video analyzing how these players, how the player or multiple players play. I'll look at clips, we'll look at statistics, we'll see how they fit into the team. I'll do more of an in-depth, but when it's just speculation, I'm just going to be talking in this very low effort sort of way based on what I've seen, and yeah, that's effectively it. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you liked the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and follow me on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching.